Hey guys, Dan with Kane Custom Garage. Hey, today I want to do something a little different and take a look at old Frankie, my car. I've been working on this thing for 20 years or more, and I'm still working on it to this day. The project never ends, but that's what makes it fun. Somehow I've managed to hold on to her all these years, so let's take a look at her. Okay guys, here is my 1936 Ford hot rod that I built years ago. And I've always wanted to sort of do a video and show all the different modifications and features of this car, because I don't think people realize how much has gone into this thing. And I know what you're thinking, oh, that's not a 36 Ford, it's got a 35 grille in it. Well, you're right, it's a 36 body, but it has a 35 hood and grille, and the grille's even modified on it. But I just sort of wanted to show you what all went into building this thing. So I'll start from front to back and show you all the modifications and features, and I'll put in some pictures of what I started with along the way. Because yeah, this is a neat car. I love this old car. We'll sort of go around her a little bit. So yeah, when I was a younger guy, back in probably when I was in my 20s, I'd already built a few cars, but I've always wanted these a 36 Ford. And you know, a young guy like me didn't have much money to buy one, so what I did was I just tried to gather up whatever leftover scrap and junk parts that I could find out in the hills, and some friends had some leftover scrap junk that they weren't going to use. And so this car is basically built out of just just junk basically. So I'll go over it and show you what all I did. That guy saw me out here, so he had to get on it. So yeah, let's start on the front. So up front is a 35 grille. I got it at the swap meet for, I think I paid like 40 bucks at the Monroe swap meet. And the bottom of the grille was all destroyed. And I've always sort of liked 34 Ford grills, so I rebuilt the bottom of the grille to come to a point like a 34 Ford. And then it also sort of goes good with the 37 Ford headlights. And speaking of the 37 headlights, those are Frenched into the 36 Ford fenders. And I got those 37 headlight buckets and everything off of eBay. Somebody'd actually cut them off some other fenders, and so yeah, I spliced those all in there and built this transition between here. So everything from the grill over is built from scratch basically. And then just recently I actually put the trim in. Whoops. I actually put the trim in around the grill. I'm trying to point at this with looking through the camera. But yeah, I put the trim in, and the bottom I had to do some serious retweaking to make it fit the pointed grill, because on a 33 grill or on a 35 grill it just goes straight down and then rolls under. And then yeah, I've got a 35 splash pan in there. And then yeah, it has 36 front fenders, and then a 35 hood. And then I chopped the top. Oh, I think I initially chopped it like 3 inches, and I drove it for a few years like that. And then I didn't like that, so I chopped it a couple more inches. And I drove it for a long time without a roof. And this roof you see is actually off of a 37 Ford 5-window coupe. And I chopped that all up and made it fit, and it actually comes off. See, there's just 2 bolts up front, and then there's 2 bolts in the back, and you can take the whole top off. It's like a one-piece lift-off top. And then it has the 36 running boards. And I did a little cutout on those for the exhaust to come out. These running boards were completely trashed, but I beat them around and straightened them out. And then it's a 36 body. And I like the 37 roof because it has the split window on the back. And I actually chopped the roof. Oh boy, here we go. The Fast and the Furious. He's getting on it. But yeah, the 37 Ford has the split window, which is really cool. And I actually chopped like 3 inches out of that too. So yeah, I chopped it and sectioned it through here and went down here. And there was actually this was a 5-window coupe roof, so it had a 5th window here, and I cut that all out and then moved all of this forward and reshaped all this. And then the body itself is a 36 Ford 5-window coupe body that we cut the roof off of. Because I'll show you some pictures that the roof was caved in on the body. The only thing that was really good was the doors, the quarter panels, and the firewall and cowling. So these are 5-window coupe doors, and I cut the tops off of them and then reshaped them with some tubing to look more like a Roadster. Because that's ultimately what I was trying to go for, was a 36 Ford Roadster look. Because I love those 36 Ford Roadsters, but those things cost a fortune, so I had to build my own. And then I put in a 40 Ford dash, and then rebuilt the dash where it goes under the windshield, all that. We'll get back to the interior here in a sec. And then the back, I didn't have any 36 Ford rear fenders, but a buddy of mine had some 37 Ford rear fenders laying around that he didn't need. And so I thought, you know what, those 37 fenders are pretty much the same thing as 36. It was just the back part is different. So I put those on there and made those fit, and I think they actually look pretty cool. And then I put the 37 Ford taillights in it. And then it has the 41 Ford bumper on the back, same as the front. And it has the cool license plate bracket and bumper thing. I think those are 41 Ford Deluxe bumpers. And so yeah, it looks mean from the back too. And so this whole back half, the whole trunk section, was actually off of a different car, because in that picture, if you look at that picture that I showed, somebody had cut the trunk off that 36 body. So then I had to find another back half, which is that wrecked piece of garbage that I'm standing by that looks like it got run over with a D8 cat. I had to fix that so that I had the back half. And then the deck lid, I didn't even have a deck lid, and 36 Ford deck lids are super hard to come by, and if you find one, they're expensive. So guess what? I made my own. Let me open it up, I'll show you. So this is, the deck lid is actually the roof skin off of a 50 Ford 4-door body that a buddy of mine had out in this pasture, and it had the right curvature and everything. And so we cut that out, and then I just made the inner structure out of 1/2-inch box tubing. And we actually we employed some modern technology, and we glued the skin to the frame with some of that auto body epoxy that they use on new cars now. They glue the quarter panels and stuff on with. And I mean, that stuff is strong. This has been like this for almost 20 years, and yeah, it doesn't go nowhere. But yeah, that's all, that whole skin is just glued on there. They use that a lot on body panels now. They just epoxy them on there. And that way you don't have to weld it and warp it and all that. So yeah, that worked out pretty good. And yeah, there's the trunk. Got me a cool old box in here. The floor I had to build from scratch because there was no floor, although the floor back here was still intact. The trunk floor was still there, but the floor up front was gone. And then I put a trunk prop is actually a 37 Ford hood prop. So that works good. See, when you go down, it releases it, and then when you go back up, it catches. And then it's got a hood latch off of like a Subaru or something like that. They work pretty good. Christina's pinstriping. I even got an old 36 Ford plate. You can run those in Washington State. So yeah, just a neat old car built out of a bunch of junk. I had to fill a lot of bullet holes and fix a lot of dents. And then I ran it without a hood for quite a few years too. It's just sort of been a work in progress. I just keep adding more. So yeah, let's take a look under the hood. And speaking of, let me see if I can do this without shutting the phone off. It's got the stock hood that opens up sideways. I like it like that. So yeah, under the hood we got a 327 Chevy. I think it's out of a 62 Impala. I bought that from the wrecking yard just down the hill here. And then of course we went through it and put 202 valves in it, and it's got the hardened seats, and I found a vintage Offenhauser intake manifold for it. It's got a 4-speed Super T10 out of a 78 Firebird. And it's even got the original radiator, 36 Ford radiator that somebody had already converted over for a small block Chevy. They moved the inlet and the outlet on it. And believe it or not, the thing runs cool. Never overheats. That's still the zero pressure radiator. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Painted a custom skull on the front of the grille because it was sort of bashed right there, so I just sort of used it for character. Because yeah, like I said, we didn't have a lot. I didn't have any money to buy anything cool, so I just built my own. And see, here's the other side. It's got fender well headers. It has the old point style distributor, but it actually has Patronics electronic ignition in it, but it still looks old school. So yeah, got my custom cup holder. That's like a vintage cup holder out of a boat. And see, there's my 4-speed shifter. The seat's out of an S10 pickup. And it was cool, you can actually buy upholstery kits for them, so I bought one and redid it. Look at that. Let's go around to the driver's side and take a look. And it's got a roll bar in it, because I always liked roll bars. I always liked the old race cars with the white roll bar. And look at that, look how much I drove that thing back in the day. It's all wore out from my clutch and brake. We drove this thing to Bonneville a couple times, drove it to Vegas once. Yeah, see, it's got the old 36 Ford banjo wheel in it. A friend gave me that. He had it laying around. And look at that cool license plate topper badge I found in some junk pile somewhere. I thought it looked cool right on the dash. There's my little skeleton friend. Yeah, here's the view from inside. It's pretty cool. One of these days I'll finish the upholstery in this thing. The doors are still just bare. Sounds like you're riding in a tin can, but yeah, she's a cool old beast. Here, let me start it up for you. Ready, Frankie? Oh yeah, she's got a rumble to her. It's got a pretty choppy cam in it. One of these days I'll take you guys for a ride in it. Oh yeah, and the wheels and tires. I used to have red steel wheels on it, which was sort of more old school, but I found these on the internet. They're not really Halibrands or anything like that. They're just sort of a knockoff thing. And then I put some spinners on it, sort of like the old school 60s, 70s look. So yeah, that's my baby. I put a lot of hours into this car. But yeah, just built from a bunch of junk. Back in the day, before kids. Somehow I've managed to hang on to it all these years. So yeah, that's Frankie. That's my hot rod. So yeah, I'll take you for a ride in it one of these days. Alright, thank you guys.